Shakeups at OpenAI rock the company at a critical time. Google is found to be a monopoly by a federal judge, and Microsoft slams Delta. All this and more on the Blame Game edition of #Trending. I'm your host, Jim Love. Let's get into it. OpenAI is experiencing significant leadership changes today, with 3 key figures announcing their departures. Greg Brockman, OpenAI's president and co-founder, is taking what he terms as an extended leave of absence, marking his first break since the company's inception 9 years ago. He stated that he plans to relax and focus on the mission of developing safe artificial general intelligence during this time. Peter Deng, the vice president of consumer products, has also left the company. His departure adds to the leadership shakeup within OpenAI, especially as the company is trying to dominate on the consumer side of AI, the area he was supposed to cover. John Shulman, another co-founder, has decided to leave to join rival firm Anthropic. He expressed a desire to focus more on AI alignment and return to hands-on technical work, which prompted his decision to leave OpenAI. But these departures are part of a broader trend of high-level exits at OpenAI. Only 3 of the original 11 founders remain with the company. Earlier departures include Ilya Sutskever, OpenAI's co-founder and chief scientist. He left after being involved, or perhaps being instrumental, in the board revolt that resulted in the firing of Sam Altman. When Altman returned victorious, Sutskever's departure was probably inevitable, given his role in the firing. But there was also Jan Lecke, the co-leader of the Super Alignment Group, who resigned shortly after Sutskever. Super Alignment is the area concerned with the safe development of AI. There have been other notable departures, including Evan Morikawa, the lead engineer, Daniel Kokotajlo, safety team member, and several others from the Super Alignment and safety teams. Do you sense a theme? But today's shakeup is a little different. This happens at a time when the company is facing real financial issues, when competitors are catching up with them, when the U.S. government is asking what happened to that promise to devote up to 20% of computing resources to safe AI development, and the leadership shakeup is notable for its potential impact on OpenAI's strategic direction and competitive edge in the AI industry. Concerns have been raised about the continuity of OpenAI's projects and its ability to retain top talent, which is crucial to this highly competitive market. Furthermore, these changes occur amidst ongoing legal and operational challenges, including a renewed lawsuit from Elon Musk, who argues that OpenAI has deviated from its original mission for commercial gain. And there's also the little matter of how much OpenAI is getting in bed with the U.S. government. First, OpenAI quietly removed its self-imposed restrictions on participating in defense and weapons development. Then, retired General Paul Nakasone, former head of the National Security Agency, NSA, and U.S. Cyber Command, joined the board of directors to ostensibly serve on the board's Safety and Security Committee, advising on how AI technologies can enhance cyber threat detection and response. And this all happens as the company is working to release GPT-5, or whatever the next big development will be. Given that Google seems to have woken up and put some blockbuster developments out in the past few weeks, Meta's latest Llama release has been getting rave reviews and is open source, and competitor Claude continues to capture interest. Now, if OpenAI wants to continue to dominate public attention and be perceived as the leader in AI, a position it needs if it's going to generate the added investment capital and revenue that it needs, this is the worst possible time for a mass exodus. Either GPT-5 is in the bag and may blow our socks off, or Altman may face his first major crisis of confidence with the general public and investors. A federal judge has declared Google a monopoly, marking a pivotal moment in the tech industry. Judge Amit Mehta found that Google violated antitrust laws by maintaining its dominance in search and advertising markets through anti-competitive practices. The case revealed that Google pays Apple a staggering $20 billion annually to remain the default search engine on iOS devices. Surprisingly, Apple categorizes this substantial sum as advertising revenue on its financial statements. This decision, the most significant tech antitrust case since the Microsoft trial in the 1990s, could reshape the online landscape. Let's go back over this. In the 1990s, Microsoft was accused of having achieved a monopoly in the personal computer market because it bundled its Internet Explorer browser with its operating system, Windows. Now, there was some real truth to this, as Internet Explorer was regarded as killing the Netscape browser and preventing others from entering this space. In 2000, a federal judge ruled that Microsoft had violated antitrust rules and the company was to be broken up into two separate entities, one for the operating system and one for software products. Microsoft appealed this, and later a court overturned the breakup order, but the settlement forced Microsoft to, among other things, share its application programming interfaces, APIs, with other companies. And to some, this is the reason why we saw the emergence of Google's web browser and the resurgence of the Apple computer. Now, there's no doubt that Google will fiercely oppose this and appeal this ruling. The full impact is going to take years to unfold, but it won't just affect Google. Apple is probably cringing a little bit at the thought of perhaps losing $20 billion a year from Google. Other competitors are probably wondering how they can exploit this, including, maybe, OpenAI with its new search experiment. Everybody will be watching in the short run when the next phase, which is determining appropriate remedies, begins next month. And as the tech world grapples with this ruling, it set a precedent for increasing scrutiny of big tech companies and their market power. The outcome of this case could potentially trigger more antitrust actions, signaling a new era of regulation in the digital age. And by the way, if you want to catch up on the search part of this, check out last weekend's weekend edition for Hashtag Trending. It's, if I do say so myself, pretty darn good, and my guest, Marcel Gagné, is a wealth of information on search. Delta got the second of what is now a 1-2 punch as Microsoft jumped into the fray. As you'll remember, Delta was threatening a lawsuit claiming they lost as much as $500 million and accusing CrowdStrike of not testing the software that crashed their systems. Yesterday, CrowdStrike hit back with its own counterclaim that they had offered to help Delta, and Delta refused their offer. To pour a little more salt into the wound, CrowdStrike noted that other airlines were able to recover much more quickly than Delta, suggesting perhaps that Delta's IT systems and recovery plans were not robust enough for a real-world issue. Now, that might have sounded like a self-serving argument from CrowdStrike until today, when Microsoft made similar statements, firing back at the airline's criticisms with some revelations of its own. According to Microsoft, Delta repeatedly turned down offers of free assistance following the CrowdStrike-related outage last month, including help from CEO Satya Nadella himself. Microsoft claims that despite daily offers of free support from July 19th through July 23rd, Delta consistently declined. Even more startling, Microsoft alleges that Delta CEO Ed Bastian ignored a direct email from Nadella on July 24th, possibly due to his commitments at the Olympic Games in Paris. The tech giant suggests that Delta's reluctance to accept help may be due to deeper issues in non-Windows systems, particularly its crew tracking and scheduling system. Microsoft points to Delta's apparent lack of IT modernization as a key factor in the severity of the outage compared to its competitors. The response from Microsoft paints a very different picture of the incident, challenging Delta's public criticism and raising questions about the true nature of the airline's IT infrastructure challenges. As I said before, people who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, especially when those glass houses are a single pane of glass. And that's our show for today. .ca. You can find our show notes at technewsday.com or .ca. Take your pick. Hashtag Trending is still on summer hours, so there's no morning news edition on Friday, but we'll have a great show for you this weekend. Thanks for listening. I'm your host, Jim Love. Have a wonderful Wednesday.